Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another video about some of the new changes coming in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the new egg moves and level up moves that are given to some older and newer Pokemon as a result of the new games coming out, some of which are pretty significant in a lot of ways, and others are just kind of cool to see that they added them to the Pokemon's attacking repertoire. But to start things off, I'm just going to go through this alphabetically-ish, because that's kind of how it's presented here in various ways. But Armaldo getting Bug Bite isn't too big of a deal here, but we do have Avalugg learning Wide Guard, which could maybe possibly allow it to see some use in doubles, because it is quite the physical tank. Beware gets Bind, which isn't too big of a deal, and then we see Decidueye getting Phantom Force, Leaf Storm, Shadow Sneak, and Ominous Wind, all of which are actually very cool moves in their own right, specifically Shadow Sneak. Which I think is very awesome that this Pokemon now has access to that. If it didn't before, because really its only priority was Sucker Punch, which is on Stab, and even though it is still a little bit powerful, being base 70, as opposed to Shadow Sneak with Stab being 60 base, it's still nice to see a Ghost-type move being given to this Pokemon in terms of priority. We then have Dunsparce learning Mud Slap, and Hypno learning Wake Up Slap, which is nothing really too significant here. Incineroar learning Double Kick, which is also not that big of a deal. Jirachi getting Lucky Chant. Jumpluff getting Absorbed, but probably one of the biggest ones on this list so far is the fact that Kommo-o actually is learning Close Combat now, which is a move that it did not previously have access to, thus giving it a very powerful attacking move to go with. Typically it had to use Sky Uppercut as its main fighting type move for the physical side of things, but now Close Combat is really, really good for this Pokemon. This Pokemon got a ton of buffs as a result of the move tutors and everything, and this is just one of those ones that also makes it even better. We see Kyurem getting Noble Roar, Lantern getting Spotlight, Lurantis getting Night Slash, which will actually give it some more type coverage, which is really good for a physical set on this Pokemon. Necrozma gets this new Photon Geyser move, which is like this crazy thing that this Pokemon gets pretty much as a result of this generation. Palkia getting Aqua Ring might see some use in Ubers, I don't know. Primarina, as we mentioned before, getting Icy Wind. I think I mentioned that on another video. Reshiram getting Noble Roar, Tauros getting Double Edge, which it previously did get, I believe, as like a move tutor, but a while ago. But just seeing it as kind of like a level up move now, or having a little bit easier way of accessing it is really cool. Serena getting Power Whip is very cool, because typically its strongest physical grass type move was its like signature move, the kick thing that I can't think of the name of right now. But Power Whip is one of the most powerful physical grass-type moves in the game, so this is really cool for it. You see Apom, which means then also Ambipom, will be getting Tail Slap, and this is really cool because this is a move that was typically only learned by Chinchino. So this will actually definitely get some use on a Technician set for this guy. It's better than Double Slap, or the other move, Double Hit, because this one hits 3 to 5 times, so this will actually be really cool for Ambipom. Bellsprout, and then thus all of its evolutions, get now Strength Sap, from Shiinotic, which is really cool. Gives it a little bit of an additional recovery option, which is very cool. Bidoof getting Mudsport isn't a big deal. Blitzel getting Faint isn't a big deal. But Bouffalant getting Cotton Guard is very interesting, because now this Pokemon has a way to boost its defense considerably, and this Pokemon is already very bulky. So having Cotton Guard will make it a very powerful physical tank, I think, and definitely a cool way to make use of it. Baniri getting Power Up Punch. I think this was previously a TM, or it's not anymore, or something like that, because I know that I have seen Lopunnies with Power Up Punch, but I think it had to have been acquired some other way. And same thing with Cacnea getting it as well, which means Cacturne gets it, which is kind of cool. Carnivine getting Acid Spray is also really cool. Also, I believe Carnivine gets Defog now, which is super weird, but very cool, because I really like this Pokemon. So that's kind of cool. Carnivine is typically really only using physical attacks. Like, I've only seen Power Whip and Knockoff on sets that I've run with it, and really haven't seen this Pokemon used otherwise. So seeing this could kind of free up some of its special attacking options a little bit more. Be getting Grassy Terrain isn't a big deal. I believe Chespin and Chestnut have previously been able to learn Power Punch, same thing for Chimchar, so that's kind of cool if they get it. And then also getting Crafty Shield for Chimecho could be cool. Along with Perish Song for doubles and other shenanigans with that, so that's awesome. Misty Terrain, again, not a big deal, but Cubone getting Curse is also very cool, because now when it gets to be its Alolan Marowak version, it'll actually have the fun Ghost-type Curse thing, which could be very cool with this guy, now that it also gets Pain Split, so that's awesome. And this could also allow it to have some bulky physical attacking options as well, because this Pokemon can be very physically bulky. Cutiefly getting Powder is kind of cool, because that's a move you don't really see often, but more importantly, Sticky Web is very cool for this Pokemon, that it now has access to that. Sticky web users are always like very few and far between. You don't have a lot to choose from, but Cutiefly is one of those Pokemon that really could make use of it, as well as its evolution, so that's really awesome. Darumaka getting extra sensory, that doesn't really mean much. Dedenne getting a tearful look also doesn't mean much. Deerling headbutt, all this stuff not really significant, but Dewpider getting sticky web is also more significant, meaning that Araquanid now will get it as well, and that is probably going to be one of the best users of sticky web, because Araquanid can do so much outside of just setting up sticky web, which most sticky web users can really just set up sticky web, and that's literally all they can do a lot of the time. But then you see Diglett getting Metal Sound, which is kind of cool, I guess. It makes sense with the Alolan version of it, so that's pretty nice. And then Drowsy getting Power Split and Psychic Terrain, I guess that has some use potentially. Aquajet Ducklet, that's kind of cool. First Impression Farfetch'd, that's really interesting. That's a bug type, that's the priority bug move, right? That's very cool. I wonder how much that'll come into play with Farfetch'd. Not that people will really use Farfetch'd that much, but it's still very cool. Finneon and also Lumineon now get Confuse Ray, and I think that's really cool because I absolutely love Lumineon. One of my favorite, like, underused, never used Pokemon that I've used a lot. So Confuse Ray is always a really cool thing to see. Froakie getting Power Up Punch is kind of cool. Girafarig getting Psychic Fangs is very, very cool. This move, I think, really isn't learned by a ton of Pokemon, so this is really cool that Girafarig gets it. You can run this Pokemon physical or special, so this will kind of give it another psychic type attacking option on the physical side, which is very cool. Grimer getting Power Up Punch is really cool, actually, because a lot of people run like a Alolan Muck with what's it called? An Assault Vest, so this will give you a way to boost stats while also running the Assault Vest. Hoot Hoot getting Hurricane is very, very cool. Same thing with Hoppip getting Strength Sap. A lot of these are really awesome changes to see. Illumise getting Aromatherapy is very cool, because that's Prankster Aromatherapy right there. Joltik getting Lunge, I guess is kind of cool. Kecleon, Power Up Punch, very cool if you want to run, the Protean sets with this thing. Coughing getting Venom Drench is also very cool. What are other significant ones? Let me see. Numel, Heavy Slam, that's fun. Oh yeah, Oddish getting Strength Sap as well, so it seems like they gave this to a lot of Grass-type Pokemon, which is actually pretty cool, giving them an additional recovery option. But this is also very cool. Oshawott can now learn Sacred Sword, which means that its final evolution will also get that, which is a Pokemon that doesn't have a ton of attacking options, so this is actually really cool for a physical version of Samurott, which is really awesome. Pachirisu getting Baby Doll Eyes is actually pretty cool, because this Pokemon is fairly specially bulky, but not quite physically bulky, so that'll actually be really nice to see. And what's really weird is Pansage now gets Spiky Shield. That's a really, really bizarre addition, I think, because why would this Pokemon get Spiky Shield? I really don't know. But also, additionally, Pansear now gets Flare Blitz, which is very, very cool. That Pokemon didn't really have a pretty fantastic physical attacking option outside of Fire Punch for fire moves, so that's really nice for it. Patrat getting Bullet Seed, I guess, could see some use. High Horsepower on Phanpy, kind of cool. Phantom getting Power Up Punch. All these are pretty interesting additions, but one more important one is Ponyta getting High Horsepower, because Rapidash, I don't think previously could learn Earthquake. So this will actually give it a very nice attacking option, having a ground type move, which is very good for fire types to have to be able to deal with rock types very easily. Of course, you could probably just run like Grassy MZ Solar Beam now, but whatever, it's cool. Pumpkinboo getting Curse, I think I'd already learned that though. Pyukumuku getting Spite, that just gives another little fun option. Sandygast getting Curse is also very cool, because this Pokemon additionally also got Stealth Rock, so this gives it another additional way to be ran, which I think is really awesome. Riolu also getting Meteor Mash, and I just skipped over that, which means Lucario gets Meteor Mash now, and that's awesome. What else could I say about any of these things? Shelmet getting Toxic Spikes, which means Excelgor now gets Toxic Spikes, and that's really great, because that already had regular spikes, so now it's probably one of the fastest spike setters in the game, which is very awesome for this Pokemon. I definitely see that getting a lot more use for that reason. Spinarak getting Lunge is actually pretty cool. It also gets Megahorn, I think, or Ariados gets Megahorn, but Lunge is a cool option as well. Seeing Spritzy also get Nasty Plot is really awesome, because this Pokemon is a Trick Room Pokemon, essentially, or Aromatisse is, so this could actually allow it to Nasty Plot, set up Trick Room, and then proceed to just, do a lot of damage, which I see being a really awesome option. Swablu also getting Play Rough is kind of cool. You don't really need it, because Mega Altaria just has the Pixelate thing anyway, but it's kind of cool to see that. But what's an even more interesting user of Sticky Web is Swirlix, which means that this Pokemon also, additionally, it makes sense because it's cotton candy. Like, that makes perfect sense. But I really, really like that Pokemon, and its evolution, whose name is escaping me right now, because it can be used in a lot of ways outside of just belly drumming, so this is actually a cool way to run a more support Swirlix and whatever the heck its evolution is called, because I cannot remember right now. So we got, what was I gonna say, Burn Up onto Pig, which is actually kind of cool. That might be a way to make use of that Pokemon a little bit differently. Tropius getting Dragon Hammer. I don't see it using it that much, but it is kind of cool that it does get that, kind of acknowledging that it also gets Dragon Nets and everything. But what's also really cool is Trubbish now gets Autotomize, which is actually a really awesome option if you ever were to try run this Pokemon as a sweeping Pokemon, because now it can double its speed. And Garbodor already is pretty quick. It's not like blazing fast, but like it does have the ability to outpace a lot of stuff if you put some investment in it, and it's really less common for a Pokemon like that to really get a boosting move like this, so that's really cool. Turtwig getting Heavy Slam is kind of cool. And I'm reaching the end of the list right now, as you can see. But one of the more interesting things also down here at the bottom is that so many references in my other video, but Zigzagoon now gets Extreme Speed as an egg move, which is very cool. So now it's a lot easier to get, as opposed to just outside of events, which is the only time you could ever get Extreme Speed. So go check out my Linoon video, by the way, if you would like to, on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's a lot of great changes coming to a lot of these older Pokemon, and it'll be really cool to see how these shape up in their respective metagames and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to it. A lot of stuff gets a lot more moves now, and that's gonna create a lot more variety in what you see, hopefully, in the tiers. But anyways, everybody, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching. Nice quick roundup. If you want to take a look at this list yourself, I'll post it in the description. But as always, everybody, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.